Hi everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to the first episode of PKM Weekly of 2026. So let's see what's been in store for us over the holiday period from the various different apps. So Thymer, that's taking shape nicely. So the closed alpha happened about 10 days or so ago and it already feels like so much has happened. The devs, they've been intently listening to users' feedback on Discord and providing their thoughts and comments. Several bug fixes and features have already been implemented and more have been identified for the team, but although in terms of bugs, nothing major that I could see. And there's ongoing discussions about the outline mode and tags and the functionality, which is nice to see that the devs taking time and listening to people's different perspectives and taking these on board, just to see if they can shape Thymer to be to everyone's liking. And if you haven't already received an invite or you can access Thymer yet, just fear not, the devs are aware of the need to move to the next stage as quickly as possible. And Wim did comment that they want to do a bunch of bug fixes, a few things that we want to add, but also really looking forward to moving to beta and inviting a whole bunch of more people. So fear not, they are aware that they need to move to the beta stage as quickly as possible. And if you haven't already though, you can, and if you're on Twitter, make sure you follow Wim and Diedrich. You can follow their Twitter handles here and ask them politely for an invite, because from what I've seen, they generally do give out invites on Twitter to people who ask for them. And if you haven't already, join the Discord, as also on that one, batches of invites are posted now and again by the devs. And just to make sure that if you have signed up and you're asking why haven't I received an invite, the sign-up process for the website is for the private beta, not so much the alpha. So that is why if you haven't received an invite from your email, it's because we are in the alpha stage and not the beta yet. So just keep that in mind. Next up, first impressions. So Daniel, a great review of PKM apps. He did a why Thymer could be the next big thing in note-taking blog post. So every year he sees new applications. Some are good, some are great, some are terrible, and some are interesting. And he believes that Thymer could fall into the great category. So definitely worthwhile checking out his thoughts of why Thymer could be the next big thing. Definitely worthwhile a good read. So thank you, Daniel, for posting that. And then next up is the power of plugins. So within Thymer, you can easily create plugins, click of a few buttons, and there's just a couple of demos to see you showcase what is possible. So you can easily implement a wide view mode within Thymer. So as you can see here, the posts are all, or the blog, they're all narrow content. So do plugins, copy a few things, paste a few things, and then what we can do, save. It's just copying and pasting. I'll post the code to the links to the code below. And with a few clicks of a button, you can see then that you can get wide mode enabled, and that will work throughout your whole space with a click of a few buttons, as I say. So very easy to implement and tweak the way Thymer works. And on top of that, Ricardo, he did an AI chat plugin. So this was in the space of a couple of days. And as I say, the alpha has only been released about 10 days or so ago. So you can see here, he's got a couple of blog posts, or a couple of notes that he's referring to. He opens up his Chat with Claude plugin. And I should say in this case, it does use Claude, but you can use GPT, Olama, and various different other things. And it spits out some LLM text. So definitely worthwhile having a look at that once you get access, because there is some great stuff that is possible in Thymer. So with that being said, Obsidian, Capano, he's asking if you use Obsidian with Claude Code, tell me about it and tell me about your workflow and why you've used it. So if you are in that camp, do post back to his Twitter post. 194 replies already, so it's definitely worthwhile looking into that one if you haven't, and if you have, do provide your thoughts. And on that note, if you are looking to get started with Obsidian and Claude Code, check out the PKM Starter Kit by Ballred, and a complete personal knowledge management system that combines Obsidian with Claude Code, and you can go from zero to full functionality. And this is great because it's just a case of reading the README, installing a few prerequisites, and a 15-minute quick start, a few codes, copy and paste, and off you go. So definitely worthwhile having a look at that one if you want to bring some Claude Code into your Obsidian life. Next up is Obsidian. They've got 100 million Obsidian plugins downloads. So over the past few years, the downloads have reached 100 million downloads of plugins. So some great achievement in that one. And the devs plan to make plugins even easier to discover, safer to use, simpler to build, and faster to approve in 2026. So I wonder what this number is going to look like in a year's time in terms of downloads. So some great stuff from the Obsidian team and the community on that one. My 2026 Obsidian setup. So Curtis showcases how he will use Obsidian in 2026. So it's going to focus on productivity clutter, reducing productivity clutter and keeping only the tools that facilitate actual thinking. Having a core organization with a few folders, some essential plugins from the core and the community bases, manual over automated thinking, and tidying up old notes that are not used and spaces. So definitely worthwhile checking that one out if you want to see how Curtis will use Obsidian in 2026. And a couple of interesting Reddit posts that I found. So very disappointed with the experience in Obsidian. So OP writes, I'm looking for advice, not just criticizing for the sake of it. Been testing Obsidian heavily, but it just doesn't feel right. And he provides quite a few examples of why to them it just doesn't feel that good, and it's a bit of a disappointing experience. And obviously there's about 80 comments there that you can read through and see what others are saying. And the other one was a bit on the flip side of that. Obsidian can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. So you can easily just start up and take notes, or you can do whole convoluted workspaces and functionality with various different plugins to make it as complicated as you like. So just something to keep in mind, that it's up to you how you want to use it. Capacities, they've done a 2025 a year of Capacities updates, and systems and Flow posted that they almost left Capacities for a dedicated project management tool, but then Capacities shipped Kanban views, task management, Readwise integration, and various different other fixes and updates, and they're now wondering why they even considered leaving Capacities. And they conclude with, if you're tired of juggling a PKM app, a project management app, a task list, Capacities deserves a serious look. So if you are in this camp, definitely worthwhile having a read through the blog post here and why OP changed their mind in terms of why Capacities was the one for them. And next up is Ella does a walkthrough of how she uses Capacities, objects, how the objects are structured, and their use in Capacities as a PKM second brain and journal, as well as commonplace. So a brief video of how she looks through and uses Capacities in terms of the few key functionalities within Capacities. Tana, they've had a little bit of a quiet time, the past couple of weeks or so, just because most people are on vacation, but there was a comment in Reddit that asks of how do I get content out of Tana so I can probably use it. So they say Tana is probably the best note-taking app for capturing, but in terms of getting things out, it's not. So definitely worthwhile having a look through this one, 15 comments in terms of OP's question of, is there a secret rune, known only to insiders, that magically releases clean sentences and paragraphs as opposed to bullet points, spurious headings, and values left over from Tana AI. So well worthwhile having a look through at that one if you're also frustrated. Logseq, they've had quite a number of updates, and mainly it's the DB version split from the MD version for the Markdown version, and with that comes the new Android app. So there is a PR that has been posted on GitHub past couple of days, which looks at converting the Android app from Java to Kotlin and updates it to use the modern storage API. So with that, Android app's going to be modernized, various different things that are changing with the use of Kotlin as opposed to Java. CI workflow improvements, various different things as well, and other testing status where the team is at for the moment. So definitely worthwhile keeping an eye on this one and the app in general, because it does improve from what I've seen on the iOS side. The new iOS app is leaps and bounds beyond the original app, so well worthwhile keeping an eye on that one. Logseq Publish, this is a post posted by Tiensen past week or so, and I think this is nice. It's coming up very well in terms of Logseq Publish, and also they do announce the split between Logseq Original, the Markdown version, and Logseq Database Graphs in terms of the new version of Logseq, and there will be a blog post or some announcement made by the team of why they've decided to do this in terms of going forwards. But as you can see, the Logseq Publish page is nicely taking shape, so looking forward to seeing that one being released. And there was a plugin, so with the new database functionality, HKGNP, they've posted a couple of updates to their plugins that they've created previously. So the chart renderer, as you can see here, takes various different data from the databases that he's got and you can tweak a few numbers, and that's going to update the graphs in real time. So some great stuff on that, and just goes to show why one of the reasons that they wanted to move from the Markdown to the database version, because it just allows a lot more functionality and flexibility. So very nicely done as well in terms of the plugin HKGNB. Next up is Craft. So a fading thought showcases AI for your notes, structure ideas, finding what you mean in Craft. And Craft has become their go-to place to manage project and capture ideas. And in the video, they basically go through of Craft's new AI assistant and just talks us through how to use it and how to get the best out of it. So definitely worthwhile having a look at this video here if you're a user of Craft and you want to make use of the new AI assistant. Joplin, they're proposing an update to their CLA to clarify how AI assistant contributions are handled within Joplin, and they would really appreciate the community feedback before they finalise it. So there's a bit of rationale of why they want to update the CLA in terms of AI assisted contributions. And what it basically means is that explicitly allow AI assisted development reflected in modern practice and exclude fully automated submissions which would not provide reliable copyright ownership. And you can find the full details here on the discourse of Joplin, as well as the various different comments that have already been posted. So if you are interested, definitely worthwhile checking that one out. Heptabase, they're interested to seeing how you use Zotero, if you do use it. So for academic users or users who use Zotero, since Zotero offers both cloud and local storage, we'd love to know how you manage your files, especially PDF and media. Do you have it mostly in the cloud, mostly locally, but due to the cloud storage limitations, or just use it locally for other reasons? So fill in the survey, as it seems like they want to implement some sort of Zotero integration within Heptabase. Octarine, they've got version 0.32 that's just been released, and that includes native menu bar, git sync, different views, and date picker allows you to have an optional clear button to remove the selected dates, and so much more that is being implemented in the changelog here. And from the changelog, you can see the various different updates and what they mean and how you can use them. So some great stuff from the Octarine team and Rajat, so well done on that one in terms of just continuously improving Octarine. So that's good, great to see. And last but not least is Zettlr. They've released 4.0, so it's a major upgrade, bringing in a new table editor, image and PDF viewer, and improved citation, parsing, and access to the Lua interface. And you can see the full updates here that have been implemented in Zettlr 4.0 in terms of what it means and what's new. So that's great to see from that app as well. And that's it for this week, so thank you very much for being here, and I shall see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.